Round 1, 2021. We're going to the next level. PM and worried about a lot of things, but the weather was definitely something on everyone's mind. And big crowd in. We haven't had any crowd since probably the end of 2019, but so many people turned up. And the best thing about the weekend, you can see how much it lifts the town, and I'm sure the boys have appreciated that over the weekend. And to go out there and rip in for 80 minutes and have the result for people that means so much for them to enjoy that over the weekend must have felt pretty good for them. Today, the image on the field looks a little different. Some new, some returning. It was a shortened but challenging pre-season, but now we're finally back.
The wingers start for To'a. They're through a huge hole.
Daniel Saifi, 100 games, bags himself 2 tries.
Thrower has a double. Best pins a year's back. Best is over. And the signs are good for 2021. Tyson Frizzell, wonderful opening gambit as a night.
Yeah, mate, it was tough. It's definitely what I expected. The crowd were awesome tonight. It's an honour to be a part of this club, and hopefully we can have more enjoyable games like that.
He was tough, he was professional, he was, the things that are warranted in amongst the footy team with the speed of the play of the ball, those things that really create a really good vibe for the team and some real positives for the team. He was all over it.
So good to get a good game together from the boys and start the year out with a win. I was pretty nervous before the game, but I've missed this feeling right now, and it's the best feeling in the world.
Mate, it felt like a finals. Freaking that packed, that loud, so good.
Yeah, what a great boy Jesse's going to be, I think, for what he brings, experience, quietly spoken, but he leads with all his actions, and you can't have enough of those guys in your team.
20,000 plus here, and it just shows how good of a town Newcastle is, mate. We love it here.
We start this episode of Level Up at Bar Beach, Newcastle. Injured players Kalen Ponga and Lachlan Fitzgibbon are part of a media event held for a big week of sport in the region. The focus is now on a big milestone game for our number 7.
I think that's the thing. I think milestone, they bring up all the people that you love and that support you. Sometimes people you don't hear from all the time, but that reach out. So, I think we all play for certain purposes, and I get just as much a kick out of it as for myself as I do the people that I love that are involved in it. So, it's how I've always played. I think that's what's deep inside me, and it's great to be able to share that with everyone this week.
it's a very different environment to obviously training in the Super League. He's really applied himself, and he's obviously got his opportunity today through injuries, and hopefully he can take that opportunity and turn it into a positive for himself.
This has been a career with some ups and downs, but there's no doubting Mitchell Pearce has been an achiever on the field. He's won a premiership. Dirkman, Corey with the shot. Played a couple out from the line. Brayley Barnett. Can you believe that? Take one. Head by 10 with 7. Taking it. Might be for much longer. Pearce, it is 300. Will score the try. Boy, dummy. Brett Brooks. Brooks left behind. Cole. Brazil. He gallops away. And Newcastle. He'll be tackled. The siren will go. And the Tigers have broken the duck.
Not the result we wanted, but it's on to next week. This week is mining round, and the boys will be wearing our high-vis jerseys to celebrate our miners and the importance of mining to Newcastle and the Hunter Valley.
Everyone's got connections to the mining industry. It's a huge employer of so many people in and around our community. It's blue collar, tough, resilient, and there's a few things we like to think our footy club stands for.
Absolutely brutal. Some of the impact down here. Second rower. King! Josh King!
When I wake up, I gotta get hydrated straight away. So I usually scull a bottle of water, and then we usually go and meet a couple of the lads down at Lotus Corner in the junction for breakfast. So that's our usual game day spot. I don't usually think about the game till probably lunchtime-ish. It just all depends too, because some days you play at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. My preference is to play night games. I feel like day games you sort of feel a bit rushed with your game day prep. But so I'll go to Lotus, we'll come back, just relax, and then I'll get the foam roller out, stretch band, and usually do like half an hour of stretching and hamstrings, hips, glutes, all that sort of stuff. Usually do a round of Wim Hof breathing, which goes for 10 minutes. So I feel like that energizes me and gets me going, and then I usually turn the PlayStation on for a bit and just do a little bit of mind-numbing stuff just to take my mind off the game, because you can't really be thinking about it all day, otherwise you start to burn out. Lunchtime, so I'll go and get cold brew coffee from Lord's that I'll just bring into the fridge here, and then on the way into the stadium I drink that. Once I get to the stadium, the only thing I'll use my phone for is music. I won't look at Instagram, I won't look at any social media stuff. For me, like a lot of my routine is around, I'll just put the music on, won't touch my phone really other than that, just to change songs or whatever, and focus and try and be right in that moment, because then when I find that I'm in the game,
bring it back. Jaden. Green to Barnett. There to Ponga. Here's trouble. Here's Ponga. Here's a try. Caleb Ponga gets over. Here because Tuala down the sideline with the kick. They're lining up. They need the bounce. They get the bounce. Herman scores. Townsend. Lovely pass. Nakora. Harani on his own. Oh yes. The winning Harani. He might have just tied this game up. Green under pressure. He does get moved the ball, but it goes backwards. That man Brodie Jones away now, and the beautiful pass Brazil keeps it going. Ponga, yes, Ponga, he has done it. But the Newcastle Knights have somehow found a way. What a win!
We made it tough for ourselves there, but you know we're lucky to score that try late. You know, Caleb was on fire tonight and it just ended up in his hands, as it always does with those really good players. So, yeah, it's a good win. We needed that one. It's always good playing here. The crowd's always, it's the best in the NRL. Like, consistently, you know, what the fans have been through probably for the last, 8 years, and then they still turn out in numbers like this. Obviously, the last 2 years have been better for us. Coming off the back of 3 losses, we still had 17,000. It's good to see.
I'm very lucky to do what I do, and I just had it. I've been very close to having it all taken away from me last year, and that's why I think now that I really appreciate it for what it is. As much as as nervous as you get on game day and as comfortable it is before you play, once I'm running out there, I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is what I do. Yeah, this is what I want to do. I love it.
A few of us come up to John Hunter Hospital today to visit a few people. I think it's probably a pretty special one for us. We always like coming up here and being able to visit members and fans, or like you say, sick kids and that. For us, it really puts things into perspective. We put so much emphasis on our footy and winning games and that, but when you come up here and you see people who've actually got sickness and illness, it really puts things in perspective with what's important. For us to be able to come up here and hopefully take their mind off with whatever's going on in their life for 5 minutes, that's the whole goal of it, and hopefully make them smile in the process. So yeah, like I say, it's always a special one for us to be able to come up here and give back a little bit.
Roosters have won 12 of the past 14 clashes against the Knights. It's been 25 years since the Knights won consecutive games at home against the Roosters. Play the ball left, they are set. Bradley and Walker. There's his floating
obviously it wasn't the result we were looking for. We had every intention of coming out fired up on Saturday, and it wasn't to be, and it was a pretty sombre shed. We had pretty honest conversations around what we need to do as a playing group to rectify that result leading into this weekend. So I think that'll be the focus this week, and hopefully we can bounce back against the Raiders.
The Raiders get us going in Wagga Wagga. Rapana across field. Tarpany in the face of Kalen Ponga. And is about to get a whole lot worse because George Williams. 2 tries. And a fantastic kicking performance from George Williams as the Raiders ahead 16-0. A short kick-off here from Kalen Ponga works beautifully for Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Here's Watson quickly on a dummy. Phoenix Crossland, Connor Watson, you magician. He owned that play. He promotes Phoenix Crossland. Ponga shapes to go wrong. He'll reach out and score. So quick to jump away from these tiny players. The Newcastle Knights go in. What a comeback. What a fight. What an effort. A nodding coach approves. The Newcastle Knights beat Canberra 24-16.
There was no shortage of people that had an opinion on what sort of character we have. So, and look, we brought that on ourselves. At the end of the day, we can sit here and whinge about it, but we did bring with some performances, and this is only one game. It's not going to go away. It's one game. I still think there was a lot there for us to get better at. Okay, it wasn't a clinical performance, but it was a performance that we needed. Disappointing thing is obviously Magic Round is such a great festival environment and you want to showcase your best product, but unfortunately there's a few there that some star players will be missing.
Tigers game.
Everything to be able to do that. Even just even us coming in today and seeing them all, you really appreciate what we have and how our lives are and how we can train and stuff like that. And these kids are all sick here, so it just makes you appreciate it. Yeah, it's good.
I met two families from Tamworth, another family from Moree, both with really horrible stories. Some of them, the two families from Tamworth, were been in here since their kids were pretty much 3 weeks old, struggling with cancer and other viruses, and then family from Moree with a horrible bike crash. So to hear those sort of stories makes you grateful for obviously your health, firstly and foremost, but also the struggles people are going through.
My story is I was born in Canamble and we lived in a tin shacks, we lived in a camp, we slept in tents and it was a large camp, my grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, and then I was there till I was 5 and then we were put on a train. We thought it was just a joyride, we were taken away. My two brothers, Barry and Whitty, went to Kinchela Boys Home. I was the only one that came through to Newcastle. And I arrived here on the 22nd of April 1960. I grew up in the church and I love the church. And that's been my healing to be able to got through that. It wasn't easy. I can say I'm stolen generations and that just takes 4 seconds, but that journey of healing took over 40 years. I saw a quote yesterday. Happy people build their inner world. Unhappy people blame their outer world. And so I've lived both of those lives. I can be a bridge because I grew up being a white person and then I found all my mob and then I learned Koori ways. The whole earth, we're one tribe. And I just love that. If we think about that, we're all one family.
We've just come out here, boys, to support you with what you're doing. We know how tough it is. We actually went through it about 2-3 years ago, and these boys, they whipped the hell out of us. But I guess you're at a crossroads right now in your life. You know, being teenagers, you're starting to get faced with all these decisions and important ones that can either set up your future or it can unfortunately ruin your future. So we've sort of been through all of those. Didn't make the right decision all the time, but majority of the time we did, and that's why I guess we've ended up here today. So we've just come here to support you. It's just about sometimes in life, boys, the hard thing is to, keep going and keep doing it. But the thing with that is the support that you can get around you by asking on people and leaning on people, or you can take the cheap option and go the other way, but in the end it's not worth it. Sometimes the hardest things are the ones that work out better in the long run.
obviously a massive week for especially a few of the Indigenous boys in our team, and it's a significant week for us. And you know, everyone's painted their boots and helped Connor with his charity there, and that's a great initiative from the boys. And yeah, today we had a little smoke ceremony here, and most of the crowd here and all the boys here had a little cleansing, which was awesome. But you know, Indigenous Week is an amazing week to show some support to all the Indigenous community and all the Indigenous players.
They can touch it here, Newcastle. They are so close. Marty out, Marty. Manly, can they produce a miracle? Here's Daniel Saifidi. Yes, for the win.
Yes, and if anyone deserves it, it's Daniel Saifidi.
Knew what this week would have meant to us, and you know, especially for Connor, Indigenous boys, you know, we really made something for us and play for, and we want to send Connor and all our Indigenous boys happy today, and you know, we can see how much it means to them, and we really dug in today and had to go. This is the start, and we've got to take away the good things in this footy game and progress, and really nail down the next couple of weeks, because you know, it's going to set our season up.
Yeah, so I came out of the line to put some pressure on, which in hindsight, I wouldn't have made that choice to rush out of the line.
Oh, straight arm from Pearce. Might have knocked his shoulder out of its socket.
Keep an eye on him, but he grabbed straight for that peg.
Tarek Sims sort of made a bit of a movement on me, and my ego came into it, so I threw the arm out, just because it was a poor choice to rush up. At first, when I did it didn't feel as bad as the last time I ruptured my pec. I felt like last time I felt it pop straight away, where this one was a bit more, it wasn't as painful, so I thought maybe I just had a little strain there and I got caught in an awkward position. But over the next few minutes, as I went back and then obviously went to the sideline, I could feel it starting to sort of loosen up, which is obviously the tendon snapping, and yeah, I was pretty gutted then. Yeah, it's sort of new for me sitting out, but anytime I've been injured, I just try and take the time out to see what I can work on to come back better. For me, through this period, it's been around styles of footy. The game's changed a lot over the last year, obviously, with the new rules, and try to see the game from a different perspective and see where I can help the team, and then personally what I can add when I've come back, and that's what I've been working on. Once you get the surgery, obviously just recovering for a week or so, and then gradually just start to do some one-arm weights, a bit of mobility stuff. I did a lot of aerobic fitness on the bike, which was really tough. yeah, just build into each week you build into your training programs, and yeah, had a safe return. Yeah, it is what it is, but it wasn't ideal for a pretty game of footy for your return to bring out all the tricks. But I just wanted to play tough, defend well, kick well, and give some leadership.
Walsh is there. Spectacular. Spinning. The kid's away. Walsh up over halfway. Great tackle. Oh, that is magnificent. Set restart. Pearce. Short pass. End the Knights try. Fitzgibbon. Welcome back, Mitchell. Nicarima with the ball. Right up to the line. Dashing through the hole. Katoa. Knights have hit the front. It's not the best looking win of the year. The Knights fans left.
Yeah, really good to be back. It's tough conditions for the first game, obviously, just to get the physicality of the game back. Lots of defence in the wet, so got the body tested a bit earlier. But yeah, look, just stoked to get the win. It was not much happening there for most of that game, just with the conditions. But we got the result we wanted.
I think yeah, we've learned what we've learned from the first part of the year, and then this next 10 weeks, you know, our dream is to rack up as many wins, that's every game, obviously, that we can win, and get ourselves as high as we can up the ladder for the finals.
It ended up cooking me in the end. It was, you know, it was sort of an 8-month, you know, rehab period for my knee, and all I focused about was my rehab and my routine and getting ready to get back on the field. And by the time that 8 months finished, it just zapped all the energy out of me, to be honest. So it's obviously a little bit harder when you're 34 to come back from some of those things.
So today we're launching the first Newcastle Knights women's side. So it really is a special day. You know, this foundation team that'll build on the history of the Knights and certainly adds to the culture, what we're trying to do in the region. We'll have young girls now who'll be going to under-6s in our region that can aspire all the way through to Tasha Gale, Harvey Norman, NRLW, play for their state and play for their country. It's a fantastic thing. Blake, for us, I think is one of those guys who's done everything on the field he could possibly do. He's a player with great skill. He shows great empathy for everyone around him, and it's something Blake's wanted to do for some period of time, and we're really excited to have him as a head coach for next year. We're really excited that NIB are going to be our major partners in the women's game for next year as well.
It's something I always wanted to do. I've been a bit of a footy head, ever since I was a kid. It's the only thing I've really I've known, I guess, since I left school. So the transition's been pretty good. I didn't have a whole heap of downtime, and it's kept me busy. Obviously I'm new to the women's game. I'm new to this space, but I've got a pretty good understanding of what makes teams perform well, and things have been coming together nice.
Oh, it's brilliant. I reckon it's awesome. From Tarshy Gale now leading to next year Harvey Norman to then an RLW is a really great pathway for our young girls to come through, like Kyra herself. So it's really good to see that all pan out.
Just seeing how they play football. Everyone will have their own ways of playing and just bringing it together. I'm really nervous to play in the NRL level, but excited to get started.
Yeah, for me it's about reinforcing the standards here from the Newcastle Knights and the vision that we want to uphold, not for just this season but for the long term. The Newcastle community has pathways in place with a successful Tarsha Gale. The country champs took out the comp this year, so this is just a natural pathway for the community, and for me I think what I'll bring is definitely the professionalism that Newcastle Knights have and around the girls, and also develop that culture and the foundations.
It's good to see that everyone's sharing, players and making the game more equal to be able to have a bit of more competition. But it's always, you got the underdogs, so it's just, get out there and see what we can do against Bronx and Roosters. So I play with a lot of girls on the Roosters side, so I do know how they play a bit.
Yeah, it's going to be it's an exciting time for us. I just can't wait for everyone to get out there and get on the field. Yeah, I'm really prepared and looking forward to it. I can't wait for Monday.
The unfolding COVID-19 situation in Sydney has forced the game to relocate 12 teams to southeast Queensland in order to save the 2021 season.